I really love I guess the team piece of the whole thing. I've never been I'm just going to do it myself type of guy. I really like working as a team. That's why I like you guys.
You're an inspiration to our entire organization.
Welcome to the Gym Marketing Made Simple podcast. We're going to be talking the done-for-you marketing and sales strategies proven to work with boutique fitness gyms to increase quality lead flow and grow your revenue. Don't try to be a professional marketer and waste tons of money. Let the experts at Lasso do it for you. And now, here are your hosts, Blake Ruff and Sherman Merricks.
Okay, guys, here we go again. Another week, another amazing episode of Gym Marketing Made Simple. Blake and I have a special guest today, Adam Lane. As you guys know, I'm not going to give you too much info about him. I'm going to let him talk about himself. I love when people talk about themselves. It's better. Adam, first of all, thanks for hanging out with us, buddy.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I mean, how else would I want to spend my Friday morning?
I mean, it is a great way to spend a Friday morning.
It is.
Friday morning. So tell us a little bit about you, about the gym, for people that don't know you, like, who's this Adam guy? What does he do? Sort of give us a little bit before we jump into the nitty gritty of the podcast.
Yeah. We own Oak Strength and Oak Performance here in Northern Illinois. We started the gym back in 2012. We were a traditional CrossFit gym. I was a teacher by trade, 7th grade math. My wife still teaches 7th grade science. That's how we met. Did a bunch of coaching, cross country, basketball, and track. Integrated some smart strength training stuff, and just absolutely fell in love with the process. And it morphed into, actually, it was my wife's idea to start a CrossFit gym. I was going to a local gym, and it was fun. But I really liked more of the coaching part than me being an athlete, because I'm kind of a genetic trash can. So it was more fun for, me to, do the coaching piece. And that, over 4 years, it grew enough where I could get out of teaching. And, our 2 kids were born during that time too. So we just tried to smash a bunch in between 2012 to 2016. And then, and then I stepped out, and we've moved the gym back in 2018 down here to our current location. We have about 13,000 square feet. About 8,500 of that is dedicated to more of our youth athlete development training, a lot of middle school, high school, collegiate, and some professional athletes. And then about 4,500 square feet dedicated for our adult training. And here we are. And then in the last year, because I like not sleeping, we decided to buy in with a metabolic franchise, and we're opening a metabolic location in Madison, which is a franchise, so very different than what we're normally doing. But we were just insanely impressed with how organized and strong the metabolic brand is, and they basically give you the playbook and say basically follow the playbook. And I'm not a natural entrepreneur. There's a lot of stuff within this journey that has been a huge struggle. And it's not like naturally I'm like, I just do what I want and this is what I do. I'm not like, no, for 14 years, I taught 7th grade math, and I took direction, and, I had my little classroom, but this franchise thing has really been good where, I'm able to do my thing, but at the same point, I'm getting tons of support and direction from up top, just to help make the best possible gym that we can for people up in Madison.
Yeah, no, that's exciting, man. You guys are definitely busy. I love it, though. I love it. So, we've been working with you, now we're going to be, working with you sort of on both of these things. But what would you tell gym owners that are looking to get into like the paid marketing space? Because I think there's sort of a lot of unknowns around it, because with Blake and I, being gym owners, we forget that before we really started this company a few years ago, the micro gym industry had been, for lack of a better term, had sort of been taken advantage of with do this and this and do this. It doesn't matter how it feels. I don't care. You got to make money. So what would you tell people that are looking to get started with some paid marketing?
Advice now would be just do it. the way I would have thought 2-3 some odd years ago. Like we again, going to the why Metabolic was so attractive is because the playbook is there. Years ago, we jumped on with the gym launch thing, and I did a lot of the Facebook ad stuff myself, and did the things and worked the back end and stuff like that, and learned a lot. But that also didn't necessarily directly collide with our brand in the way that we wanted it to. And I feel really dirty about some of the marketing stuff that went out, but it was supposed to be plug and play via gym launch. And it's not that I regret that. I'm thankful it didn't tank our brand, because it was not what we do and how we do things. But I thought I was smart enough in which to keep that up and running on my own. And then with the ever changing world of Facebook and Instagram, along with the 47 other plates that most gym owners have going for them, I designed what I thought were some very nice, copy and, things on Canva, and be like, this is great. This is on brand. This is so much better than what we did with gym launch. And, and then I would just watch myself spend money, and just keep giving, the freaking credit card would hit on Facebook and be like, oh, you're re-upped for another X amount of dollars. I'm like, son of a gun. And like, we tried to get organized, the leads and stuff like that, but it was never that, it was never that organized. I just thought they would just funnel in and and I don't know. It just pissed me off. And so, I don't know. It took a little bit to realize, like, I'm annoyed with how hard it is. Like, it really is. And I think that's why I appreciate you guys, where I think about none of this. And really, Blake, per our conversation a couple days ago, you could see how little I really put into it, because I don't know what we pay per lead, and I don't know it. And you tell me, and then you tell me if it's good or not good, and give us direction that way. But then our job is just to get these leads and get them in the door, and turn them into members. And so it took me a little bit to get there, but now it's been a huge relief where we actually see membership trending up. And I feel for the last 2 years or so, we've ticked up a little bit, and then we tick back down, then we tick back up a little bit, and we tick back down. We just kind of, so, but now for the last, whatever it is, 3 months here, we see nice, steady growth. And it's like, oh, this is exciting. By the end of the year, like, we're going to be a real gym, and this will be fun.
Yeah. So a couple questions for you, because you said a couple things there. First, 3 questions. What did you feel that when you did, like, because we get a lot of people that come from gym launch or that have done gym launch in the past and have been burned. And so they have a bad taste in their mouth. Like, the 2 things that we overcome the most is, hey, I had a marketing company before. I felt like I got screwed. And B, I think one thing that we talked about was like, hey, the copy that we write versus you, whether you like it or not, like how you overcame that. Like, let's start there, those 2 things. So like, what do you notice is the main difference between gym launch ads and that process versus now? Because I think that's something a lot of our listeners probably have tried gym launch, right? Because everybody did, right?
Yeah. And Alex Hormozy is a genius. Like, I love listening to his podcast.
Absolutely.
Like,
Nothing to say about it.
Oh my gosh. And he thinks on a level that's not even in my, gosh. I really felt dirty with the whole 6-week challenge thing. I felt dirty with the weekly weigh-ins. I felt dirty, handing this like ready-made nutrition blueprint to somebody and just be like, follow the plan. We're like, at least in this day and age, like, there's so many things, so many stressors in people's lives, to throw this thing and be like, you have to do this. And if you happen to lose X% of body weight, blah, 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 hey, we'll give you your money back. And like that rubbed me completely wrong. But we did it. We ran that until we didn't anymore. And that was, I don't know. I thought it was funny. I had a buddy up in actually owns a gym, CrossFit gym up in Madison. He also did the gym launch thing. We did it slightly differently, where the videos and stuff like that we put out, we actually filmed. We would see the in stock ones that Alex would do, and we would do our own, because I figured I want these people to see our coaches and and our members and my face and stuff like that, not just random. Like Alex and Layla were in a lot of these videos. And
I
so
remember the old one where he would jump out like him over like some little like workout room and like be in his wife beater and just start talking.
he loved the wife beater, and when you're that jacked, I don't care. Like you wear what you want. But my buddy Josh up in Madison, people were messaging him because he just put out those ads with Alex and the wife beater, and they're like, "Hey, I think somebody hacked your Facebook account. Like, so somebody got in there because we're seeing these ads, and this seems really, really weird." So, yeah. Blake, I don't remember your question.
So, so what's the difference between running ads now with us versus Gym Launch?
Yeah, well, I think when we sat down initially, and I guess it's the hot thing now, but strength is the hot thing. And we've always been
don't give our secrets away.
I know. We just told everyone, just put strength in your copy and you got it. But like, we've always been Oak Strength, not Oak Fitness, not Oak Boot Camp. We were part of Mad Lab back in the day. They wanted us to change our name to Oak Fitness because they thought it was a more inclusive thing, as opposed to Oak Strength. Sounds like it's this big powerlifting gym and da-da-da. And I'm kind of proud of myself and my wife in this. Like, we kind of held strong on this, and we're like, no, we like Oak Strength. Like that's what we do and what we want to be. So I think it worked well with you guys in the way of like, you listening to us and where we're coming from and being able to like, we want strength to be melded within that. Now with that, you guys, took it, made it to copy that people will actually react to, because the copy I write, nobody cares about.
Well, it's funny you say that. That's one of the things Blake and I, like, we always talk about. We always talk to people about when they come on. We're like, hey, listen, we're going to learn more about your gym. We are going to create some copy and stuff for your gym. We're going to use some stuff that we've tested out here. If you just trust us, like, things are going to be okay. But, at times people, they want to be, for lack of a better term, everyone wants to be that special unicorn and think the copy has to be this. And I'm just like, it really doesn't need to be, right? We're going to get you some people in front of you. Then it's going to be on you to talk about how your gym fixes their problem. That's the only thing that matters. No one comes in and says, hey, in that copy you said, or hey, I want to meet that girl in that photo. No one does that. We're just trying to get them in front of you, and you're going to take care of the rest. So I love to hear you say that. Like, I really do, because I think so many people overthink it when it comes to this.
That was a hard pill for me to swallow, to be honest with you. Like,
how'd you get over it then? Because I'm curious, as a gym owner, because we just tell people suck it up. Like, do you want to make money or not? Right.
Well, I think it was that, and then also I just kept seeing really just all the positive reviews that you guys were getting through different switching over to push press and then getting in that way, and then just seeing the different. Who's the one girl? Is there an Amy? You guys work?
Yeah,
Amy.
Yep.
Something like that. Yep. She's been crushing it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So like just stuff like that. I'm like, it's working for this girl. Like what so part of it was, and I think part of it too was like, we just kind of, flatlined out within our adult population. And that's been obnoxious.
Yeah, no.
Go ahead, Sherman.
I think that, you said something earlier, and Amy was the same way. She wanted that slow, consistent increase long term. Not like, yes, it happens sometimes, 20, 30 members, 16 members in a week. That happens sometimes. But for us, the huge testimonial is like, hey, someone that starts with us in January, and then the following January or February, they've increased their revenue by 75%, 80%, like 100%. That's a huge testimonial for us. And again, like Blake and I, we really try to emphasize enough. Like, if this is your last ditch effort, we aren't the company for you, right? Like, we're not trying to, if you're going out and you need a grand slam from us for this to work, like, we're not your company, because that's not the type of marketing and stuff that we put out. Blake?
Yeah, and I think one thing too, just so you guys are clear, like we will test like your own images and stuff like that. Like we have no problem doing that. But a lot of times when you start testing things, it costs more money, right? So if we're just putting out images that we don't know, so like we spend $50,000-$60,000 a month, so we know what's going to work, and our images definitely are not like, people that don't look like they're in your gym, right? So they look like people that are in your gym. It just may not be your background, but it's not going to say like Dynasty CrossFit in the background. Like nobody's going to come in like, who was that lady on the ad, right? And one thing we get, and Sherman, we should do a talk on this sometime, is like how to handle your members that see your ads. Because that's always a big thing that we always combat is that like, well, who's that lady in the ad? Like that's not one of our members. And I'll let Sherman, because he's got a very strong opinion on this. But because I just had this yesterday, like somebody messaged me like, all my members are thinking we're not good enough to be on your ads. And it's like, it's not about your members. It's about new members. And they should want you to grow your gym. And if they don't, well, you have probably a culture problem. But Sherman, what do you say on that? Because I think that's something people need to hear.
Yeah, here's the thing, guys. Like, here's the thing: you don't let the inmates run the asylum, right? You just don't, right? At the end of the day, you tell them, "Hey, we're trying this new marketing company. We're trying a marketing company. They're trying our images, different images. This is just the way it is, right? Everything's gonna be fine. It doesn't affect you. Yes, you're gonna see some stuff. Hey, share it for me, like it, comment on it, talk about how awesome the gym is, but." And, sort of like Blake said, I despise the question. All of my members are. Everyone is saying, we know that's not true. Yeah. It's like 3 people. And then you're
they're probably not the 3 people you want in your gym anyways. Let's be honest. They complain about everything.
Correct. Like Adam, like you said, like there will be some people that, hey, Adam, like, is this, like, if it's super, super off and it does, like, they'll be like, hey, like, is this you? Everything okay? Because I didn't, and like that's really the end of it. They're just looking out for you. They're not telling you, Adam, you shouldn't be running marketing like that, because they don't know how to run a business. And that's the thing that we tell everyone. Just trust us. Like give it 90 days. And if you're not making more money and all of that, okay, we'll listen to your members, run your marketing for you, and let us know how that works out. But you got to let those people know, like, hey, we're trying something new. We're trying to grow the gym. That's all we're trying to do.
Well, and I think the thing that I've appreciated that in that realm, because of the angle and really the flexibility that you guys gave us in the way of, the deal that we have come in, like we just sell people into a regular membership. Like there's no like rocket science in there. It could be some personal training, could be some personal program, could be something like that. But like that was very different than, again, the previous gym launch thing, where the part I felt dirty on is that at times we'd be giving better deals to these new people, and I felt bad, like we were screwing over our old people, and that is not what we're doing now. We're doing, our old people are, most of them are paying, roughly the same as everyone else, but we have some people grandfathered in, doing some things which they've been with us for 12 years and whatever. But I think that I have felt much less dirty, not less dirty. I haven't felt dirty, with, just trusting you guys and being like, hey, you just run with it. We did have on one of the images, a lady tagged another girl and said something like, Heather, is this you? And it was like this girl's doppelganger, where she was like, wow. No, it's not, but it looks a lot like me.
Yeah. And to your point about, what I used to do when I had my gyms is I would actually leave the pricing sheet of like my new memberships up on the counter, because they would see all this influx of new people and they thought like, what is he doing? He's just giving discounts. And they'd be like, oh my gosh, these people are actually paying that amount. Like, so they knew that, like, and to everybody like listening, like if somebody would work with us, like we are against discounts. Like we want you to charge more and give more value, right? Because we want you to make more money, and people perceive more expensive with more value, but you have to deliver on it too, right? So I think one thing is like a big thing that you're really talking about is like offers. So like, well, when we craft an offer, like we try to work with you, like you're talking about, like what you're already doing. So it's not really anything different. It's just taking what you're doing and wrapping it in a nice present, right? And then presenting it to people. And rather than saying, hey, do you want to come in and sign up for a month? Hey, let's package this into a 3-month process, because we really know people need about 3 months to create a habit and really give it a chance, right?
Yeah.
And we know that they need to show up at least like 36, 38 times to get results, right? So we can give them metrics to look at and be like, hey, did you show up that time? Like on day one, you need to show up 36 times if you actually want to see results. So like things like that. So I think that's a big thing that you're talking about, is like the old, hey, if you do X, Y, and Z and T and Z, you can get your money back. And there was no way they're ever going to do it, right? And so now it's just the simple process of that. One thing I'm interested in, because I don't know this, is what made you, two things. You said what made you want to, but what made you shift, or has there been friction in like the mindset of having to do like a franchise model where it's not what you're used to, of like having like free reign? And then also, like, you're in Illinois and then you have one in Madison. What difficulties have you had with a second location that's not near you?
Yeah. So franchise wise, no, I really like, I don't know, and you guys have probably felt like this. I put the loneliness of being the entrepreneur piece is something that I don't always handle well. And it just like, I don't know, you're left on an island by yourself. And my wife used to be more involved at the gym, and then she's 0% entrepreneurial with things. I get her feedback on some stuff, but she loves her little teaching job. It's absolutely perfect for her. To get involved with the franchise with something that I totally align with, like metabolic strength based, interval stuff is something that I completely get behind and agree within the philosophy and the training, the methodology. There's not much of it that I'm not overly excited about. And then there's some stuff I'm just moderately excited about, but like, I think that's the big thing. Like it's one, I would like to make money off of it, but then two, I totally align with what they're doing. We're about an hour south of Madison. The metabolic demographic is 20 something, early 30s. And it's that demographic is much more alive in Madison, Wisconsin than what it is Rockford, Illinois. And so that just looking at spots and stuff like that, that's why we decided to go up to Madison with it. But I'm looking forward to, it's not a bad drive, just up the interstate. I'm going there later today, and, to go there and take classes and see what's going on and make sure things are running the way they should be. But at the end of the day, we hired a phenomenal GM, and Ross is doing a great job. We hired 4 fantastic coaches. Like, I am thrilled with our coaching staff. Like, they are to try to sell somebody on metabolic when they have no idea what metabolic is, but I'm trying to explain to them what metabolic is and how much they're going to like it, is a tough thing. But we sent, 2 off to training camp last month, and they came back just like, they're thrilled. Like they're so into it. And so I guess being part of a franchise and having, Kirk DeWall, being the guy who trains my trainers to have this overly high standard, I freaking love. Like, that is fantastic. To have Brandon Cullen explain that this is the rhyme and the reason for how we do things and why the brand is the way the brand is. And these are the people that we're trying to help, and these are the people that we're not trying to help. And you can't help everybody. And like that, I really love the team piece of the whole thing. I've never been I'm just going to do it myself type of guy. I really like working as a team. That's why I like you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to, in 2-3 months to hear of just, because there's going to be, right? Like, anytime you open a business, there's going to be struggles and things you have to learn. Especially, I had 2 locations. It's hard. It's really hard, right? Because like you said, you have to get a phenomenal GM or somebody to run that place, because you can't be there every day, right? Yeah. Like, you basically have to say, here's the keys. It's yours. I'm just here to oversee you. And any questions you have, come to me. But I'm entrusting you to I'm not going to micromanage you. This is your thing. I'm just here to kind of just manage it as a whole. And it's tough. It's tough because it doesn't, when we're like, and it's like anything else, when we're as an owner involved, we're always going to be, it's our baby, right? Like, we're going to make sure it works. When it's a GM, no fault to theirs. They're not going to care as much as we do, right?
Correct.
And so the growth is going to be slower rather than like, there's a lot of people in metabolic. I just talked to Corbin yesterday. He's got somebody in maternity leave. He has to jump in and coach 13 classes now, right? He's got to be the face again, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's like, and he's got 8 other locations, but those other 7 spots, he probably isn't on a fast trajectory compared to the one he's in. Right. So I think that's something that you have to go into the mindset of your second location that like, hey, it might just be a slower growth. Right. Yeah. And so that's something huge. Sherman, what you're going to say? Sorry.
No. I was, like with the with us, Blake and I, like we were used to, at our team, we were used to working with, micro gyms. We had free reign to do whatever we wanted. And then for us working with the franchise too, right? Like there's been some learning experiences for us. But the thing that Blake and I see on the back end that we figured out is that we can help franchises just as well as we can help micro gyms. So that's been exciting because, working with Matt has just been great because those guys are like the thing that they really care about is their franchises being successful, obviously. So, in the beginning, Blake and I were like, well, do we tell them this and tell them that? Now we know, man, we can be an open book with them. We need to tell them the best thing for their franchises because at the end of the day, that's the only thing that they care about, which is great. That's why we're excited to watch this thing just sort of continue to grow and become what we know it's going to become for sure.
Yeah. And for those people listening, like I always had the misconception, like franchises had it all figured out. Like all the franchises are always crushing it. It's not the case. Everybody has the same problems as a gym owner. F45s, my buddy owns an F45, working with metabolic gyms. They all have the same issues. So it's no different in us solving those issues, working with somebody. It's the same process. Like, I told Sherman, I looked at it. My buddy was telling me an F45 gym that was doing well, and I won't mention their names, but they stole my copy that I wrote over 2 years ago. And I was like, I actually felt flattered because I was like, oh, that's really, but everybody has the same issues. It's either getting more leads. It's either getting people booked, getting people for consults, selling them, or just building a team and getting the right people. And those are really like, if you don't have the right team, like your churn's going to be really bad, right? Your churn's going to be really bad. And then if you're not generating leads, you're not going to grow your business at the end of the day, right? You have to get people in the door. So,
I think that's one of the things that, since we've been working with Matt, that's our first sort of peek behind the curtain of the, of the franchise models that they do a great job. Like they understand that marketing is important, right? Like they understand that, hey, we have to get these franchises in front of more people than they can touch by themselves. Like, yes, you have to do tabling events and stuff like that, but we also need the digital piece so we can get to the people that we just don't even know that would never know about us. We hit them while they're at work and stuff like that. So, I think this is very exciting, and I'm excited, Adam, for you to have both of the gyms working with us, so we can we'll be able to run a little test and everything on the background. So I'm excited about that too.
Yeah. Well, I think it's been neat on our end too. Two different systems. Like it was so like for you guys to be able to plug into push press and be like and link things together. I think that's all it was. And there it was. But like that back end automation stuff. I think that's what it is. That's what I hear when like you ferociously type on that Loom video the other day. You're like a machine gun onto the like it's intense. But like to have that, like it was hard for like I've messed with Zapier before and have put together some spreadsheets and things. Hey, you got a lead and But like that ability in which to connect with them, follow up with them, hit them back, get reminders of that whole thing. We were severely lacking, and one, push press made that a bunch easier. Two, you guys made that a bunch easier, specifically with getting these new lead stuff in. But now we go over to metabolic and they don't use push press. Not a good fit for what they're doing and what they're doing it. And you guys have been able to get into the back end of mind, body, and axle and whatnot, and mess with that and adjust some of the communication that goes out, to these leads that come in, and I think made it. And I think credit to Metabolic, they've been open-minded to being like, oh, we can adjust some things. Oh, that what would be good, because they haven't had anybody on the digital marketing side really come in and slam dunk it. They're very good with the guerrilla marketing piece, like that. Yeah. That's a big piece of their brand. to go out there and have human connection and conversations and stuff like that. But again, you're probably leaving something on the table if you're not going digital also.
Yeah, and credit to them. I mean, I don't know the other. I mean, I know a little about F45 just because my buddy runs it, but like super credit to Matt about to be open-minded to like still want to evolve and learn and grow. That like they literally said, hey, go ahead and write the copy and the text message goes out for the grand opening. Like, here you go. We trust you, right? And granted, trust is earned, especially in a franchise model. But getting to the point where like, hey, we're willing to test things. And whatever works is going to be the driving force that we want our gyms to succeed. And I think that's huge, huge for them to be open-minded to things. And because, I think Beth said they have like 77 coming gyms, like something crazy or something like that. So they're growing, but even just like a business, when you grow, you're going to evolve, you're going to change, things are going to be different. When they go to suburban markets, it's going to start being a little different, and they're going to have to change a little bit. And I think they know that. It's like anything, it's like my church I go to, they're going from 1 to 5 campuses. It's very different. And so I think it's huge and it's awesome to see on the back end. Like Sherman said in the beginning, we're like, what do we say? What do we not say? Where it's like, hey, we just want to let you know, take the data and do whatever you want with it. But here's what we're seeing. And they're like, thank you so much, right? So it's been great to work with them. Yeah,
no, for sure. And Adam, like, man, we're excited to work with you in the future. We're not going to keep you much longer, but, what do you think has been the most, before we go, it's going to be the last question. What do you think has been the most surprising thing by working with us, right? Because you worked with someone previously, like what has sort of been the most surprising thing since you've been working with us?
Most surprising. I don't know about surprising, but I think the thing I appreciate the most, just because this is not my bag of tricks. The one thing I have gotten good at with owning things is I've identified the stuff that I suck at, and I try to do as little of that as possible. Sometimes it takes me a time to figure out what I suck at. But I can put my efforts into the things that I'm better at and can drive the business with. But when we have had things that don't go the way we want to, or if we had we had some issues with the SMS messaging with push press and stuff like that, and the support that we got through you guys, along with push press in the way of it wasn't that, it was a whatever T-Mobile issue. That ended up being a massive pain in the ass. But, I just appreciated like you guys are very accessible. we can get a hold of you. If something is broken, we can fix it quickly. Because we don't want to, I don't want to give Zuckerberg any more money than I have to. I don't really want to give him any money, but like that, I definitely don't want to waste it. And so, that's something I've been, really, really happy with. Like, Matt and Hannah have a call with Robert later today, just doing their little checkup on, how things are going and whatnot. And then they report back to me, just make sure, things are working well. And, I guess that's the part that's been,
No, that's great. No,
put me at ease and I can sleep well at night.
No, that's great to hear. Cause I think that's one of the things Blake and I talked about when we first started. We were like, what are some of the gaps what are some of the quote unquote gaps in the market? We were like, we need more touch point. People need to be able to assess us, not send out an email and then they hear back from us within a week. So obviously we put things in place to make sure you guys understand we're working for you. But yeah, Adam, man, that's the last question. Thank you for your time. We know you're busy. Thank you for your time. Guys, as usual, tell a friend to tune in, and we will chat with you guys next week. All right.
Yeah. Thank you for listening to the Gym Marketing Made Simple podcast with Blake Ruff and Sherman Merricks. We hope you enjoy. We believe marketing should increase revenue and not waste money. So book your free call today. Head on over to lassoframework.com. That's LASSOFRAMEWORK.com and find the right words, get more customers, and increase your revenue. We'll see you here next time.